What is advocacy in your mind, and why you think it's so important?
Sure, sure. Well, first of all, I'll kind of revert back to my role as a legislator, where I represented the district that included Northern Cook County and Lake County. And you know, every member of the General Assembly is sent there by constituents who vote them into office and then really need to hold them accountable for representing their interests. And so the primary interest of a legislator is to their voters, because they don't get the job without those people. And the voters have a very strong opportunity to influence a legislator. So first of all, know that a key part of advocacy is knowing who your elected officials are and having a track record with them that you just pay attention when they're up for election. If you so choose, if they represent your interests, you help them in their election process. But mostly, you're an expert who can inform that legislator because you know your work better than they do, and you know the impact of your work on other constituents that the legislator cares about, and it connects the dots for them to know someone at home can advise me on this issue that people in Springfield are telling me I need to pay attention to. So it's really about, again, working collectively, both at, really grassroots stuff is really important, and then you have the benefit of joining your voice with local coalitions, regional coalitions, statewide coalitions. And it's those building blocks that really get attention. And as Tanya said, things change very quickly in Springfield. And because it is not just a policy and legislative and budget atmosphere, the political agendas play a big role in what goes on. And that's the dose of reality that is sometimes difficult to deal with. But what's important is to know that you can influence that political reality to get what you want out of policy and budget priorities. And so by being involved at that level, it is important to become that resource to the elected officials. Now, you won't always get them to see it your way because there are other demands, but having that connection of saying, here's my job, here are the stories. The stories are very, very, very powerful. I can't stress that enough. I have sat with legislators. We often call it legislating by anecdote, where huge meetings are taking place, hearings are going on. And if you're not on that committee, or if that's not an issue you're particularly keyed into, you may not know about that work. And I had a legislator who came to a meeting, or actually sat with me on the floor and said, oh my God, my best friend's granddaughter was just diagnosed with autism. We have to do something. There had been years of work focused on services for children and families dealing with autism. That didn't strike her as a priority until someone put it right in front of her. So you never know how that resonates. So it's important to keep that line of communication going. And it's important to know that you won't always have a conversation with the specific elected official, but you can have regular conversations with their aides. And their aides can be your best allies, because if an aide isn't happy, a legislator isn't happy. It's really important to use them as someone you can call and just offer information to, and then they will probably communicate back to you more frequently than the legislator in terms of what is going on in Springfield, what is your position, how can you support this cause. So when it comes to early childhood, everyone gets that in a global way. But when it drills down to the specifics of what policy is needed and how it fits into the budget priorities, the stories of the work on the ground affecting a legislator's children, families, and communities really resonates. And it doesn't matter how you do it, it just matters that you do it. You can do it via phone call, fax, letter, office visits, whatever works, and you'll get some feedback from the legislator, what they prefer, and then use that. And I will say that it's important that you understand their position not being able to be all things to all people. And so you don't always have to demand an answer or expect an answer, but offer yourself as that resource. And just, again, tell your story. You don't need to know bill numbers. You don't need to know budget numbers. You just need to say, you know, it's come to my attention that early childhood care and education programs are really at risk. And I'm very concerned about that because here's what I do every day. And I want you to know about it. So how can I help you make sure good things happen? And I'll tell you, when people offer you assistance instead of demand some action, you become an instant friend and resource. So you're all well positioned to do that. You're also well positioned when you hear the news of what these discussions are entailing to be advocates with your friends and families and neighbors, because you know more than they do about how these decisions are impacting children, which everyone cares about. So you know, you can do it. It's not hard, and you should not be at all concerned that you don't have the knowledge or the skills to do it. It really is. Take the step and do it.